Hey, it's Joel. This is a giant box in front of me. Inside is the JGMaker G5, a resin-based 3D printer with an attached curing chamber. And it's heavier than most things, which is why I didn't put it on my shoulder. I think it's time we get it out of the box and take a first look right here on 3D Printing Nerd. A portion of this awesome episode is sponsored by Nico Industries. Head to nicoindustries.com and stay tuned to the end for some cool free stuff. Listen, wait, don't click away. This is the crossover circuit for the 3D printed speaker enclosures that we're doing, and you see it has two 12 microfarad capacitors. I need two more. They had to be ordered, and there was some inclement weather here in the Seattle area that's keeping things. But don't worry, things are in progress. Keep your fingers crossed. You're gonna see the 3D printed speakers real soon. Hey there, welcome back. The story of this, so JGMaker, I believe, tweeted about this, and I saw this, and I was excited. And I said, hey, I would love to look at this sometime. And so they sent it to me. This is the JGMaker G5. It is a resin-based 3D printer with an attached curing chamber. It's super heavy. It's 210 on the X, 130 on the Y, and 240 on the Z or Z. And legit, I've never seen this before. I'm excited to get out of the box, and I want to take you on that journey with me. I've got a knife. But before that, I do want to make mention, look at that. It's already got a hole in it. Like, it looks like someone took a pallet jack and had their way with it, but on the side. It's not from me. Oh my goodness, it's so heavy! Jeez! Let's get it out of the box.
A few moments later.
There we go, look at that. We're getting our first look at the machine. It looks big, you can tell. So here's the 3D printing part of it. This is the resin section, and this is going to be the curing section. One of the things that's interesting, there's a tube in the back. And this tube, you put into your resin bottle, and it will do auto filling. So if you have a large bottle, and you can get that tube kind of poked through any foil, or the top that keeps it fresh, yeah, you can do an automatic resin filling with this. So if you start to run low, it'll suck in the resin and put it in the container for you. Here's the build plate. It looks to be auto leveling of sorts. We got a 360 camera in here, it says. It's got a little USB cord right there. I'm gonna bet that's for the camera. There's a filter. There's a pump back there, and that pump, oh, okay. We'll dive into this, the resin filling, when we actually get to it. FEP sheets. Oh, masks. Nice. It has reflective sides. That was satisfying. So just right off the bat, one of the things that I like about this is the included curing chamber, and the chamber is going to be built to cure objects that are as big as what the resin printing side can do. For the application, I think this is handy, especially if it's something that you could use for your business. Because this isn't a home machine. Retail price is $2,499 US. Damn! So in the back is where this goes, and that's what holds the resin bottles, such as like that. And then it just goes on the back of the machine. So it looks like it's got a pump in here, and the pump will add resin to the machine, but it isn't going to clear it out. So you will have to remove the tank and and pour it through a strainer into empty resin bottles if you need to clear it out. Let me turn it around so you can see where the spool holder. So the resin holder. Yeah, you can see where that goes. Ah, yeah, look at that. It's now tight. Okay, that part is done. Here's the pump for the resin. Here is the outlet. And so after you put your tank in, you just kind of tilt that down, and it senses level, and will add more when needed. It looks like you level it by loosening these screws. It pushes down, and then when the plate has contacted the FEP sheet, you lock it into place, and then you've got a good level. It's gonna home. Those are loose. Should be fine. There we go. After the home, okay, tighten the screws. Sweet. I like this method of leveling a build plate. It doesn't involve, I don't know, there's a spring force, I think. Yeah, there's springs right here, so it's gonna have tension. I don't know, it just seems like a good way to do it. Function test of the UV light, and everything looks proper. So it's got these are liquid detectors. So these go up into here. Okay, that broke. The resin pump and refilling situation, it looks cool. It seems a little bit janky. Okay, so LED. Cool.
It's so beautiful.
Look at that. And it dings! Of course it dings. So we need to add resin. I mean, since it has that function, we should probably tell it to load resin, right? Oh my gosh, this is gonna be either awesome or tremendous in failure. One of the two. Okay, I've got the hose in the resin. I've got the USB in, because that's gonna have some test prints, I would imagine. How do we load the resin? That is the next thing. Load the resin. You can pour the resin in, or you can, there's a PDF. That doesn't help me. You know what, this might be that issue. So sometimes models are on subdirectories on USB drives, and you have to move the models to the root of the drive. Hey Sean, your laptop's open. Yeah. Can I toss you this? See what happens. Sean's usually behind the camera running these, but legit. Sean's laptop is gonna save the day right now, because he's gonna take the models and see if they're on the USB in a drive, or in a folder off of root. So wish him luck. Good luck, Sean.
That's teamwork.
Just PDF.
Is it just a PDF?
Yeah.
Ah, jeez. Unfortunately, at this point, we don't have demo models on any of the media that was included with the device. So we'll have to go load up Chitubox on a PC somewhere, and then we will add the machine, we'll slice for it, and we'll see what happens.
Eventually.
Well, look at that, we're back. So we installed Chitubox, the latest stable, on the Office streaming machine, and then I loaded up a Lattice Benchy from prusaprinters.org, and we sliced it, and now it's on here. So thanks to this, though, we were able to put the settings in that they would have had. So now it's time to test it out. Now we're cooking with gas. Print. Hey, Lattice Benchy. So then it should bring in resin. It is not bringing in resin. So this isn't working. I'm gonna manually load the resin and see what happens. Now, print, Lattice Benchy, go. And just like that, we're printing. It looks like this is gonna take 4 hours and 53 minutes. We'll see you back here in a little bit.
Tomorrow.
Hey, look at that, it's the next day. And it looks like we have a completed model. Whoa, just gonna knock that over, I guess. It looks good. Next steps, obviously glove up, wash, and then we'll try out the included cure station. I'm kind of excited about that. You know, one of the things that's interesting about this, the plate has a mechanism that allows it to tilt. Like the Prusa SL1, Formlabs machines, if the plate is down within the tank and the model is there, if you can, instead of pulling like this, if you can slightly angle either the tank or the plate, then it's more of a peeling motion, and you have less of a chance of the model sticking to the FEP, which means less of a chance of the model failing. You know, it's just a Benchy. I don't necessarily have to put it in the washing machine. I can just kind of wiggle it around in the juice. I'm going to try to break it free from the build plate without removing it from the machine. No, I'm gonna take it out of the machine. Man, shocking abuse of authority. Cool. I know a lot of washers tend to agitate a model, but you're going to get more mileage from your washings if you, rather than agitate, if you actually use like a toothbrush or a brush, or you use friction against the surface to get that caked on resin that just agitation isn't going to get. And so that's why you can see me kind of moving my fingers across the model. It's going to get that last bit of resin. You ready for this?
Y'all ready for this?
So you can see there's still some isopropyl alcohol suspended in the spaces within the lattice structure. Don't worry about that yet. I'm not mistreating the Benchy. I'm just kind of softly pounding it against the paper towel in order to get that isopropyl alcohol loose from all the spaces within the lattice structure. While I was tamping against the paper towel, Sean made a very good point, and he said to use the tools that you have available and don't try to, shortcuts are fine sometimes, but legit, I have someone here who can help. And even though my hands are gloved, he was able to go back and grab this for me. This is a great blower by Kotto, and I'll put a link down in the description if this is something you need. It's got all sorts of different little ends on it to blow air in certain shapes. Loud noise in 3, 2, 1. Something like that isn't necessarily required, but it's a step that ensures that you're going to get the highest quality possible from your model. If you're curing something, it's better to have as much of it removed as possible. That's been my understanding, and if I'm wrong, correct me in the comments, please. So this is now the resin curing chamber. I'm just going to start it. We'll go to 10 minutes. Okay, that turntable goes like mad fast. I wasn't prepared for that. It's not a heated chamber. It does have a timer on it. It's really loud. My honest to goodness first impression is really wondering whether or not having an attached UV curing station is worth the added cost. This is a small model, and I don't think we need a full 10 minutes to cure it. Like honestly, I don't even know what needs a full 60 minutes to cure. I'm curious about that. Curious as a dad joke, never mind. Listen, cookies are done. Let's take a look. And it looks good. It looks proper. It looks like how it's supposed to look, which is good, right? That's what we wanted to do with the first print on this machine. We wanted a full cycle. So we were able to get it out of the box and set up. Resin pump didn't work, but I'll investigate that. We were able to slice in Chitu box. We were able to print the file on the machine. We used Crypo fast gray resin. We washed the model after it was done printing, and then we cured it in the included cure chamber, and that's where we sit. So with the completed process underway, we're gonna get a couple more models printed, and we'll take a really nice macro style close look at them, and we'll give you some final thoughts. See you in a bit.
Tomorrow for sure.
Look at that, we're done with prints. We've done 3 of them, and I want to talk about each of them and then lead into my final thoughts on the first impressions. That just doesn't sound right, but whatever, we're gonna go with it. First we have this benchy, and it looks exactly like it's supposed to look. It's a lattice benchy, and it's from PrusaPrinters.org. It's a wonderful model to do tests on resin printers just because of the complexity of it. I'm sure you could print it in FDM, but I haven't yet. If you have, obviously, tag me on the Twitters and show me, I'd love to see it. It's good. It looks good. I don't have anything else to say about it. Reptar.
He's no ordinary monster.
Reptar, I think, looks decent. It was supported back here, so it was on the build plate kind of like that, because I wanted the features of the front hands or claws or feet or the nose and the teeth. I wanted those to be oriented a certain way, and so it did give way to having supports on the back. It means that some sandpaper, and I would be able to take care of these, and then if I was a talented painter like Chelsea or at Chaos Cortec, I could probably paint Reptar up to look really great. This little piece right here, my guess is something happened when it was lifting up from the FEP sheet. I can't verify it, and I can't tell for sure, but it just looks like there's something there that shouldn't be there, but thankfully this is a resin model, and so completing this would be sanding and painting, and you'd be able to take care of that and probably not make it noticeable. The Reptar was sliced in Chitu box, just like this, and the model that's in here, using the settings defined in the manual, and with Crypo fast gray resin. Reptar! Third and finally is the model that's still on the build plate. It's the Joel the Geomancer from the Broken Arrow Miniatures Kickstarter. It's really awesome. And the little high five hand that goes along with it. And I just haven't taken it off. But on close inspection, it looks appropriate, like what it should look like. Detail is there, just like on Reptar, just like on the Benchy. And, well, it's gonna lead me to my final thoughts on this first impression. Nico Industries is the sponsor of today's episode, and Nico is actually a friend of the show. His channel focuses on designing props from his favorite movies, TV shows, and video games, and bringing them to life with 3D printing. The basics are free, but he also offers a paid course on how you can design your own Mandalorian armor. Along with that course, there are more being planned in the future for props from video games and movies. Listen, check out blendertoprinter.com. That's where Nico's going to use Blender to show you how to make your own Mandalorian armor, and that's where the other courses are going to be offered. Also, if you're looking for something really awesome to print, you can head over to nicoindustries.com and choose from a number of different awesome models there. In fact, when you visit, if you sign up for the newsletter, you get, for free, an Iron Man Mark 50 helmet. How cool is that? A big thanks again to Nico for sponsoring this episode, and let's get back to my final thoughts on this guy right here. I honestly am perplexed. I'm gonna close this lid. It's a good lid, but I'm gonna close it down. I don't know who this machine is for or what purpose it serves. The JGMaker G5, I believe it's 210 on the X, 130 on the Y, and 240 on the Z or Z, is a 2K resin printer, 2.5K resin printer. And in that, it produces models that look good. I mean, these are good models. The problem is, with an estimated price tag or an MSRP or whatever you want to call it on the website of $2,499. What's that for? It does have an included curing chamber and it works. I was able to put the Reptar in for 60 minutes and he spun right round like a record baby, right round. Yeah. But it's interesting, if you look at the curing chamber, it has reflective surfaces, but the LED structure on the inside is at the very top. And I don't know if that inhibits the ability to cure something or if some LEDs added to the sides would help. But I found that it took longer to cure in there than it did in the Prusa curing chamber, which is where I ended up putting the Benchy because it was still tacky after 10 minutes. The printer itself is quiet while printing, almost to the point of not even noticing it's there. The issue is the attached curing chamber is loud, and it sounds like the record player Mark Rhodes and I 3D printed and built and tested on the channel before. There's a definite loud motor noise. So with the curing chamber attached, and it adds in the size, it adds in the weight, and it's just a spinning platter with a timer and a few UV LEDs at the top and a reflective box. I could probably make something similarly sized or bigger for under $100 US. That's just my guess. And so we come to this machine right here, or at least this side of the machine. It has some cool features, like the build plate itself. It has this ability to tilt. And if something is stuck and it lifts up and it gives way, it aids in the peeling action. I also was able to figure out the resin filling station over there. It's a little bit complex. It looks like a medical pump pumping stuff in and out of the bottle in the back. The issue is it doesn't work that well. It goes for a bit and it doesn't seem to sense the resin level, at least in the times that I tried it and was experimenting with it. Here's the thing, look at it. You can see it as clear as day. It's exposed to the elements. I understand it's within this container, but I don't know. Still, I would like to see it maybe enclosed, or I would like to see that part of it behind more shielding or more UV protection. Because if for some reason UV light gets into this chamber and there's something wrong with the resin in the tank, no matter, no bother, no what. No muss, no fuss. No muss, no fuss, no buttercups. I don't even think that's the right word. But if something happens to this tank, and UV light cures some of the resin in it, you can clean that out. It's easy to do. But if UV light gets in here and cures resin inside the pump, you're screwed. You're screwed. And you're gonna have to get a new pump. And my guess is some new tubing. And then on the back where it holds the bottle, it's a smaller kind of holding area. And it doesn't really make sense. If you have something that can automatically fill the vat and then remove some of the liquid from the vat, I guess there's a convenience there or an ease of use, but at the same time, why limit yourself to having smaller bottles? Why not find a way to be able to use a larger bottle? It seems like maybe that should be a consideration. The usage of this machine, it looks fine, as you can say, but I'm at this crossroads because there's really nothing that special about it that really makes it, in my eyes, worth the $2,500 US that the price tag says. If you want to see a full review on this machine, I'm more than happy to do it. But the problem is we've already dived deep on the functionality that should result in giving it a more premium price, but those functions aren't really premium functions, and in the end can make it harder to use the machine. So what do you think? Where are you at on this machine? At $2,500 US, you're getting yourself a resin 3D printer that does work well. It does have some functionality added to it that makes it easy to use. And the resin curing chamber that's added to it just increases its size, doesn't really work as well as it should, and can be sourced larger for less money. That's where we are with my first impressions of this machine. Are yours different? If they are, I would love to hear it down in the comments. But with that, we're just gonna let it be right there. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, I really appreciate it. Leave a thumbs up if you did. Don't forget to hug each other more, fight for a cause you believe in, and as always, high five.